In this video, I'm going to talk you through some stuff around premenstrual syndrome, so PMS, the menstrual cycle, how to regain control and live your best life. So, as women, I think from a very young age, we're kind of told to get on with it. This is what girls have to put up with. And sometimes you could be bent over with cramps and not able to function, and you'll still kind of be told, get on with it, and this is normal, it's part of being a girl. But realistically, we don't have to live with these kind of symptoms. It's not normal to allow your period to take over your life, or to prevent you from achieving goals, for them to affect your relationships. So let's say if your relationship is really suffering, if it's, very much to do with your PMS and the person that you are around that time of the month, then it's not normal and you don't have to live with it. Despite what you've been told growing up, or despite what you've been made believe, you don't need to live with these symptoms. Um, Again, a lot of this will be applied to most women, but there are some health conditions such as polycystic ovaries and things that have their own kind of separate issues and stuff. But across the board, no matter kind of what condition or circumstance you're coming from, having a good lifestyle and good quality nutrition and looking after yourself will always have its benefits. Obviously, it will vary in degree depending on how you are and your own circumstance, but starting with those things will always have their benefits. So it's just to remember that. Um, so yeah, we'll get stuck into it. Just a quick reminder of um, different things about the menstrual cycle, like we discussed in the video previously. You can see there for yourself, complex and controlled by hormones. So the hormones go up and down throughout the month. Um, I suppose the most important phase in this video will be the luteal phase. So that's when our PMS can kind of crop up. So that's when the symptoms show. And that's the end of your cycle and day one before you menstruate. So you'll notice if you are someone who suffers from PMS, the symptoms will kind of ease off around the first day of your bleeding. So if you want to just have a glance over that, just to refresh your memory on what we discussed in the previous video. Okay. Okay, so like I said, knowing more about your menstrual cycle and hormones is most likely going to help you understand your body more and allow you to adapt your lifestyle. So that goes for managing cravings, managing your mood swings, managing, your exercise. So when to kind of pull back, when to, give yourself a chance, like to be patient with yourself. I suppose it's very frustrating for us when we don't have a good grasp on how our cycle affects us, because let's say you could be in a really crappy mood and really just like not feeling motivated and bashing yourself because of that. Whereas if you take a step back and kind of say, all right, okay, this is why I feel like that, and this is what I can do to help myself, it's much more beneficial than beating yourself up, and putting yourself down. It's just having that bit more of compassion when it comes to those kind of things. And again, that comes from understanding what goes on. So, disclaimer, just to make everyone aware, PMS is more complex for some. So those with certain medical conditions, and always seek the advice of your GP if you have a concern. Again and again, I do see PMS and periods in general preventing women from progressing towards a goal. They just seem to be doing fine, and then all of a sudden it's PMS week and everything kind of goes down the drain. And I suppose they feel like they've gone backwards then. And even the week after, they're a little bit disappointed with themselves, so they continue on, and it's like a cycle that just keeps kind of going. Um, so you don't have to let these problems control your life, and it just doesn't have to be the case. The first step in managing PMS is developing and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. So I'm just going to talk you through what that might look like for you. So think about your nutrition. So number one, keep your meals balanced and structured with adequate protein, carbs, and fat sources. So avoid picking at food, nourish your body to avoid cravings spiraling out of control. So generally keep your diet, you know, involving good quality ingredients and foods and nutritious foods. When it comes to meals, then, having that balance, like I said, of protein, carbs, and fat. Portion control will be important too, if managing weight is the goal. So choose foods high in complex carbs: rice, pasta, potato, fruit, veg, lots of veg, and whole grains. It's inevitable you're going to crave carbs around your period. So if you can choose foods high in complex carbs, get in there kind of first, then it will be beneficial when it comes to cravings. Obviously, there is going to be some degree of cravings there, and what you kind of do in the lead up is going to determine a lot for you. Eat a variety of fruits and veg, focus on leafy greens. So you want to eat the rainbow, different types and colours for more nutrients. Vegetables like kale, turnip are rich in iron and B vitamins, and this will help fight fatigue. So try salting the greens in a little olive oil and garlic is a little tip. Right, so I always tell people to give in to cravings if they get them. The more we fight the cravings, the more intense they're going to be. So I have a video on cravings if you want to kind of go back and look at that. But if you are craving chocolate around your period, like, there is no reason in the world that you can't have that chocolate. If your calories are controlled and if you're not going to go overboard to the point that you're going to make yourself feel terrible, then there really is no problem with having the chocolate. Just fit it in there somewhere. Maybe swap it out for something else. If you feel like having chocolate in the evening instead of a few potatoes, it's kind of okay. When it comes down to it, like, what's the problem? Once you're not making yourself feel really terrible and sick, then it's okay. Also, the more you fight them, the more chance you're going to have at maybe having a whole share-sized bar instead of one bar. So that's something to think about. If you follow the first step of the slide, you are less likely to overindulge. So if you kind of have all the boxes ticked, you're getting enough food in, enough nutrients in, you're likely not to kind of go AWOL then when it comes to cravings and snacks, and overindulging. So if you can kind of manage the rest of it, even though you may not always feel up to having like proper structured meals, do try your best to do that. Avoid letting yourself get so hungry, because it will just lead to even more negative mood and irritability. Can't say that now right now. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Drink plenty of water. Besides hydration, it helps reduce bloating, so you'll feel a little bit better if you drink water and sip, don't down it. It also aids digestion, so you'll have less bloating as well with that. Okay, so eat more calcium, low dairy fat food. Studies suggest foods like natural yogurt, milk, soya products, and low-fat cheese can reduce the symptoms of PMS. Calcium is important for your bone health as well, obviously. Eat iron-rich foods such as lean meats and red meat. So you could need to increase your iron intake during your period if you have very heavy ones. So that's something to be mindful of, especially if you're like borderline anemic or anything. Anemia is when you don't have enough iron in your blood. Spinach and leafy greens and red meat, as I said, will cover you with that. Sometimes you need to supplement with iron. That's going to be down to your GP. Avoid caffeine, decaf coffee perhaps. So there's nothing worse than if you're anxious and irritable. I said it, irritable. Then coffee is going to increase that, and there's nothing worse than feeling like you're going to climb the walls. So maybe decaf might be better around that time. Teas and herbs. Teas made from ginger, chamomile, and raspberry leaf relieve discomfort if you have bloating and all that. Peppermint tea is also good for bloating. And a little sweetener is good for banishing cravings. Now, I don't know how well that would work for everyone. Tea isn't the most satisfying when all you want to do is swim in a tub of ice cream, but it might help in some way. Okay, so manage stress levels. High levels of stress tend to worsen PMS symptoms. So the more stressed you are, it's really going to interfere with your PMS. So try getting in a relaxed state. If you want to have a read of the different recommendations that I have there, so deep breathing, yoga, meditation are just some. Just try getting a relaxed state as much as you possibly can throughout this period of time. and even throughout the month. The more stress-free you are in general, the better it's going to be. And also, if you are finding you can't manage them on your own, then do reach out. So sleep is underestimated in the importance of all things health, and very much when it comes to PMS. And that's my little doggy illustration there. Establish a regular bedtime and a wake up time. So that's really important. I don't think people realize the importance of, having a general wake up and sleep time. It just helps with the circadian rhythm, and it is just better for us. And our sleep quality will improve. So aim for 7 to 9 hours. So oftentimes people think 6 is kind of okay, and for some it is, but it's actually considered sleep deprivation having 6 or less hours sleep for numerous days in a row. So do aim for your 7 at least. Okay, so a healthy pre-bedtime is also key. So, getting in that relaxed state, avoiding electronics, avoid being on your phone pre-bed is really important. Maybe try reading and just kind of getting a good headspace before you sleep. It will just let or allow for a better night's sleep. And limit caffeine intake. So for some, it may be no coffee after 1 or 2. Regular exercise. So we all know that regular exercise is necessary for us to be in a good headspace, to get those endorphins. So studies show that women who exercise at least 3 times a day, or sorry, 3 times a week, have fewer PMS symptoms. Pick an exercise that you enjoy. You don't need to follow follow the group, so you don't need to do weightlifting if you don't want to. You can try yoga, exercise, Pilates, and all that kind of stuff. I would suggest though, if you are a very stressed person, not to do loads of HIIT, so high intensity training. HIIT is quite stressful on the body, so the last thing you want to do if you're stressed is to encourage more stress. Stress is a very complex thing, so our bodies process stress. Our bodies process stress in the same way. So good stress, bad stress, stress from being sick, stress from exercise, stress from work. Our body can't really distinguish it, so it's all just a stress. So we want to alleviate that stress if you already have high stress. Vitamins and minerals. So studies suggest that these can help reduce symptoms of PMS. In my experience, magnesium has been very effective. So you may want to look into magnesium if you have severe PMS. Magnesium is found in foods naturally too, such as almonds, green leafy veg, nuts, salmon, avocado. Also vitamin D. So from the sun we get our vitamin D. We typically don't get enough, so it's something to look at. So period troubles and PMS should not stop you from achieving your goals and living a normal life. So that's very important to remember. Like, you shouldn't be consumed with it. It shouldn't have a hold on you. Consult your doctor if you're concerned about your mental health, or if it's maybe something external that's going on. But improving your lifestyle, maybe limiting alcohol throughout the month might be something that would help you a lot. I've heard of that being very beneficial for some people. Getting in your relaxed state as much as you can is one thing that I would say to do. So try to be less stressed. Cramping as well, the intensity of cramping is very much linked with how stressed you are. And I know you won't always feel like exercising around times where you're cramping, but just try get moving, and it does alleviate it a lot. It's the last thing that you feel like doing, but it does help. So just kind of push yourself in that regard too, and don't just like slump into a pit of depression and a ball of negativity. Try to be proactive with it, and you will see the benefits. So I hope this helped. This is again a very brief overview. Women on the pill and stuff, this won't apply to. Oh well, yes, it will apply to. Their lifestyle, improvements and stuff will apply to them, but the hormone changes doesn't exactly apply to them, because things like ovulation and stuff is switched off when you're on the pill. So I think if you are someone who's on the pill, it's good to educate yourself on that too. A lot of the times we're oblivious to it, so it's good to kind of read and consult your doctor about the different things that go on. So that's it for now. I will catch you next time.